Hi and welcome to a brand new episode of Inside CG. My name's Whitney and I am joined by some of the most amazing people in our strength and conditioning team. We're really here to talk about the results of our testing week. They all have their own journeys, their own stories, and some incredible PBs that were achieved in testing week last week. And I'm really excited to have them there to inspire you guys to jump in and get moving in your life again. So a lot of firsts here today. I'll introduce us from right to left, left to right. Dave, Megan, head coach for SAC Jabs, myself Whitney, and the lovely Emma. So every 12 weeks at Champions Gym, we test with our SAC team, so strength and conditioning. And this round, we did a bit of a renovation. So Megan, how was it different to the other testing weeks that you'd done before?
So normally, in previous testing weeks, we've really just tested within the classes that we're attending, right? So this time we did this all in 2 hour, it was 2 sessions, wasn't it? Where everyone sort of came together within the strength team and we all lobbed in and cheered each other on, and it was a vibe. I really enjoyed it.
Awesome. So we're going to start with Dave. What was your lifts and did you get any PBs?
So I got one PB. That was my deadlift. It was 180. Wow. And actually I PB'd shoulder press at 75. Oof. And I was really aiming for 80 to beat head coach Jabs. I got to 77.5 and my hands wouldn't move and I was like, I've got some more work to do. But yeah, I PB'd on my deadlift and then on my shoulder press. But this is all new to me as well. Yes. So I've come from the footy background or, that sort of thing where it was more about, points on the board, not personal development. But yeah, I do agree that it was so good, the vibe on testing on that Saturday. Everyone was getting around everybody and the family, it was like a family. And that's what mattered to me. I did it because everyone was there, sort of thing.
Were you expecting that for your deadlift? Because I know we got a PB and then you did another PB.
Yeah, I wasn't. I was expecting, I'm 100 kilos and Jabs always says you should be able to lift 1.5 times your weight. And I'm thinking, I don't know if I could lift 150 kilos, and then I got 160 up, 170. And then 175, and I rang the bell. Yeah. And then you were like, "I'll give you a blue shirt if you do the 180." And I'm like, this is coming up.
I was like, I hope I have a blue shirt in stock.
Yeah. So I didn't expect it, but I think everyone was there, and it was honestly I couldn't imagine doing that by myself and feeling the same.
Oh, that's great.
And I mean that, So yeah.
All right, Megan, you tell us about your results. You had a big
big one. Yeah, it was really exciting. So I did my bench during the week and I wasn't even able to get my previous PB, which was really disappointing. I only got 55 and I had 60 the previous testing week. So I wasn't expecting much because I was feeling really tired and all the rest of it. But then when I went in for the deadlifts, actually first we did overhead press and I got 43 kilos. So I was just pumped for that. That was, I think my previous was 40. And then with the deadlifts, I broke the 100. So for the first time, which was sensational. That was a really good feeling. And then just put another 5 kilos on 105 and then did 110.
Yes. That was so good.
How good, to use an Emmaism. She says, how good.
How good.
How good. Yeah.
To me?
Yes.
Thanks. With the deadlifts, my goal was 95. I've been training with Megan quite a lot to try and hit her numbers. And then the bar was there. I thought it was 90. So I went in with a mindset of I can do this. Yeah. And it was 95. So then when it came up, I was pretty happy and then went for 100 and got it. So
that's so good.
Yeah, it was good.
That was so good.
Yeah, it's a good feeling.
So Jabs is quite new to the CG family. I remember looking at your CV like it was yesterday and I was like, we've got to call this guy, I need him. And he was even better in real life than your CV. And you're I think when you own a business and you have coaches that care, I can sleep well at night and you care. And then there's Jabs' care. He's the first one to message late at night. He wants to know that everyone's going okay. you do extra programs for people around injuries. I know that you were a coach in another gym, but how was your testing week experience for a new coach?
All right, so pretty much it's like my proper full first 12-week block of like my programming and all the lot. And then the first time we've sort of done like the group sort of testing environment. Honestly, like the buy-in from all the members was like just so good to see, and everyone was sort of just listening. So my biggest thing with the 12-week block is try and make every rep and every single set you do look exactly the same. You want to practice the same sort of habits over and over and over. And then just coming to testing week, everyone took the appropriate rest they needed in between their sets and actually just progressed properly, used the proper warm-ups sets. We had 2 hours to test a couple of lifts, like it was back squat, bench press on the Wednesday, and then it was deadlifts, overhead press on the Saturday. So everyone used that time efficiently, and there was like so many PBs like over that week. It was double-digit amount of PBs. Like I think everyone hit a PB at least something. For those that didn't hit it on numbers, you could just see everyone's form and everyone's confidence was just through the roof. It just, it went better than I expected. And I was expecting it to go good, but it went better. And there was, so much buy-in from everyone in terms of just getting around everyone. Every time someone hit a PB, the whole room was just so happy for each other. It wasn't just an individual sort of lift. That's what we sort of wanted with the group sort of feel to it, rather than everyone lifting on their own. At the end of the day, I do tell people, like, you're lifting by yourself, but it still is like a team sort of environment. Like, you have people spotting you, you train with certain people throughout the week. So you sort of want to be lifting with them, and you're sort of doing it together at the end of the day.
Yeah, I know, like obviously, well not obviously I always say that that's my podcast thing, but Champions Gym is all about community. So when we moved the sessions together, I was like, I really just want the SAC team to get around the community a bit, because they do like separate themselves a bit more. Like the community is different in the Muay Thai and the boxing. Yeah. And I was like, I've got to get this in the SAC team.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. It's different, right? Because in Muay Thai and boxing, we'll go to each other's fights. Yeah. But you don't have that in SAC unless people are doing.
And you're not training on each other.
Yeah. And that was what was nice about it. It was that opportunity to cheer each other on, which we don't normally have. Like sometimes when Emma and I do our deadlift Fridays, which is our favourite day of the week, there's only 3 or 4 of us in the class, right?
Yeah.
Having everyone test together like this, it was just the vibe.
Yeah,
it was good.
Have you noticed after the testing week that the classes have been different after?
I think there's more. I think there's a little bit more attendance. Well, there seems to be to me.
Yeah.
And people just know each other a bit better as well, right? You've sort of built that. Oh, I know who that person is. They did that amazing, squat, and you've sort of chatted to them during that testing week and got to know people a little bit better. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Yep. All right. You're with Dave, the big man.
All right, Dave.
Handsome Dave.
So tell us a little bit about testing week. How did it all go for you? How did you find it? And then based on that, what's that sort of done for your training, your outlook on it, especially coming to the strength side of things? And what are your goals from here for at least, whether it's just the next 12 weeks or whether it's long term based on testing week?
Yeah, so I think with... you obviously threw it up to us, like, if you want to come to testing, these are the days, et cetera, et cetera. And I sort of thought to myself, what's the point? Why would I go to testing? Like, what am I testing? You know what I mean? Like, what for? Like,
back to high school.
I don't want to do a test. And I woke up on that Saturday morning and I thought, no, I'm going to go down. And I went down and I suppose the best thing about the testing is just to prove to yourself, like, this is your benchmark and this is where I want to be. And so I'd love to be able to deadlift over, say, 220, 230 kilos, bench press far more than yourself.
Yeah.
I really would. Like, just to be able to, every morning I come in just to let you know. But I think... if you don't test and you don't have any sort of benchmark in your life, whether it's with your family or work or this gym, which is like a second family, what you're going in to do what, you know what I mean? So it sort of set a benchmark, a precedent for me. And moving forward into this next 12-week block for me, I really want to focus on form. And like you always tell me, it's not about how heavy I lift or you know, how much boxing I do, etc. It's your form and that sort of thing. So it really highlighted some things for me that I wasn't doing correctly, etc. And in the same token, like, I just got to know everyone at that session.
Yeah.
And like,
It's a different level, isn't it?
it was another level. And like even now when I come into, like, I come Monday through to Friday and Saturdays, and I'm just like high-fiving everyone, and we're not even testing. I'm like, yeah, that was awesome, good for you. And they're like, okay, whatever. So yeah, no, it's testing's important for yourself, I think. Yeah.
Outside of like the gym, you obviously have a family and run your own business.
Yeah, so I'm the general manager of an automotive company.
Yeah.
I run a little plumbing business, and I've got a little family, 2 under 3, and yeah, really, I've got a farm. So I got
Really?
so I got 11 acres down south, and it took up all my time.
Yeah.
I was really missing something in my life, and I didn't know what it was. You know, like, I was running businesses, trying to be a good husband, a good dad, and
Yeah.
you know, like, I'm doing more now, but I feel happier.
And has your wife said anything about it?
Well, she's right behind me.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, like, before, you know, I'd go home, you'd sit on the couch, you wouldn't do much.
Yeah.
You'd get up in the mornings on a Saturday or a Sunday, and you're doing nothing. And now I'm like mowing the lawns really quick, or like, you know, like, trying to make everything a bit of a workout, you know, like, and I think I'm more confident, I'm happier, and that will flow through to my family. And I suppose I want to be that role model for my babies as well.
Yeah.
To say, like, you know, I'm not, you know, I don't have a six-pack or anything, but I'm giving it a shot, and I'm a part of something, and I want them to say, oh, Dad always goes to the gym in the morning, you know, and maybe and that sort of protocol and that sort of regimen flows through into their life.
Yeah, something I see a lot is male clients, often new dads, that prioritise their career.
Yeah.
To the point that they just like completely let themselves go.
Exactly what happened. So I was 145 kilos.
And I'm like, no, you have to keep training.
Yeah, I was 145 kilos when my daughter was born 3 years ago.
Oh my God.
145 kilos. And I remember it, everything was I just hated myself. But I didn't show that to myself. I hated everyone else.
Yes, resenting.
And I was like, oh, you know, like this and the rest, and I just focused in on work and all the rest of it. And then I think the most important thing about being a part of the CG family is that you can invest in Bitcoin and your job and everything else, but you need to really invest in yourself. And it's a small price to pay being a part of this gym for what you get out of it. Yeah. You know, like, Jabs will message me at 10 o'clock at night.
Me too.
Or you know, like, but that's that one-on-one personal experience. Yeah. If I need to ask him something or whatever, I can. Yeah. You know, or Coach Tim in boxing, and Jude and Alex, like. Yeah. So yeah, I think coming to Champions at 28 years old, it taught me that you need to do something for yourself. Yeah. You can be the best dad, the best manager, the best boss you can, but if you're not the best version of yourself, or trying to be, you've got nothing. And
tips for busy people that don't want to prioritise their health. Like, you train in the morning?
I train in the morning. So I live in Anketel. I'm 50 minutes from your gym. I'm 50 minutes from the gym. I'm up No, I am. I'm 10 to 5, I'm up, and I'm there before anyone. And I'm in there sometimes before Jabs. More times than not. And I suppose it's about, if you want to do something, my dad always would say, if you want to do something, you will. And if someone wants to do something for you, they will. Yeah. And I really want to do this, and I love being a part of it.
I'm not crying.
Yeah, so. Yeah. But there's 100 other gyms near me, but I'll never, ever move. I'm the most loyal person there is. And I fell in love with it, and I will never go. Aww. So that's why I wear this to bed, breakfast.
Should we get pyjamas for you next year?
Wouldn't say no. Yeah. Wouldn't say no. So
that's so good.
Yeah. So yeah, that's me anyway.
Awesome. Next. Well done. I will start. Yeah. So we're going to Megan. I'll give you the mic because I've got one attached.
Okay.
I'll just sit in the middle.
So I really wanted to talk to you about Megan has this training diary. It's a piece of paper. Well, it's not a piece of paper, it's a book.
That's right.
And there's different types of clients. I've been coaching for a long time, and not many people have the coaching diary. So what do you put in there? Yeah.
It's Dear Diary.
Yeah.
Why is Jabs? No. No, so there's it's one of those 5-section sort of setups.
Yeah.
And the first bit is around, technique notes around perhaps what I've been taught in. So when I was doing Muay Thai, it was Muay Thai stuff. Now it's more boxing. So any advice and steerage I'm given by Alex or by Jude goes in there. And then there's a sparring diary, which is really important for me because then it helps me to internalise what I've learned during a sparring session, what's worked well, what hasn't, how I felt, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Because it helps me to reflect,
Yes.
on those sessions. I mean, we were actually messaging last night about when you have those sessions where you just feel like you're just walking into punches all night, and you're like, wow. So it's good. That's good for that.
It's hard with Muay Thai boxing because you don't have data where SAC, you're lifting or you're not.
100% what I was going to say, and so that's why it's nice. So the next section is my SAC, right? And that's where I'm writing down my weights, A, because otherwise I would totally forget it. But B, it's because you can write it down, and when you see it, I'm a bit of a tactile person, so when you see it and you internalise it, it's much easier to, it's more quantifiable, right? You don't have that, it's a much more objective way of assessing your progress, whereas in Muay Thai and boxing, you don't necessarily have that. You can be thinking, oh, I did a really bad job tonight, and then your coach will come up and go, oh, your jab's looking great, and that was a great, but you don't it's not as concrete, whereas in SAC, it's very clear. I've lifted more, you can really hang your hat on that. So, and that's those are me sections there. And I have a planning section as well.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I think I've seen, as I said, a lot of clients, and there's people that come in and they want to lose weight, they want to fight, they want to spar, they want to win a state title, they want to do a PB. And then there's people that just fucking make it happen, whatever it takes. And I'm sure that Jabs can agree. It's like those clients they're like magnets, like little high performers. And the people that say they want it, they just don't really get in it. Nothing clicks. They just don't really take ownership of their own goals. What was your switching point to go, you know what, I'm going to get a diary, or I'm going to, invest in a PT? Were you like that always, or is this kind of a new Megan thing?
I guess for me, I was always very focused on my career throughout my 20s and my 30s, and I was more, even in school, I was more academic. I've never played any sports. I played the trumpet.
Okay.
In
That's
high
not
school.
a sport, but anyway.
It's not a sport. It's not a sport. So I was never really that focused. And when I joined Champions Gym, I had lost about 20 kilos. I was really, really overweight still, though. And I joined just to change up some of my, get a bit more interest in workouts. I'd been doing a bit of training with a personal trainer, but
just going through the motions, real.
Yeah. Exactly so. Yeah. And so when I joined, I was sort of doing a few classes a week, and then I just built the habit, and I got more and more interested in it. And I was watching, because you can, when you're in a general class and you see the fighters, it's really alluring. It's like, I want to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And so that spurred me on, and I guess it just built over time, where I started training more and more frequently. I started doing strength and conditioning because I knew that it would really help me to prevent injury, and I grew to really love that as well.
Yeah.
It just built over time and became more and more important. And it's really nice to not be so driven and career focused and have this other outlet for myself, which is very different. And, similarly, to yourself, Dave, having this community wrapped around you to, because there are days when I really don't want to come in.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So this is the last thing I feel like doing.
Yeah.
And I would sit in the car, I'll be driving in thinking, wow, I really, really don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And those are the days where, I walk in and I think, well, I'll just bring it. And then other people go, wow, you're always so enthusiastic. I guarantee you those are the days I haven't wanted
Your
to turn
worst.
up. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
my worst days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was so if you
Fake
can
until you
turn,
make it.
yeah, and if you can turn up on those days where you don't feel like it, then, the more times you do that, the more frequently you do that, the easier it becomes.
Yeah, okay. Awesome. For anyone that's listening to this, she trains like harder than anyone probably in the gym. What do you do in your weeks to make sure that you can like keep that training going? Like your recovery?
I do usually try and do daily mobility work with areas that I know are troublesome for me, like hips and so forth, mobility.
Yeah.
And yoga. And then I get massages pretty frequently, magnesium baths. I make sure I take magnesium. I make sure my nutrition is really solid because that's the fuel that's going to keep me going and help me to recover.
Yeah.
If you don't eat well, you're just cooked.
Yeah.
Yeah. And during sessions, making sure I'm always sucking on a Powerade bottle.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that, because I know that it helps me to get through. If I did 2 hours this morning, that's the kind of stuff that gets you through, right? And having those electrolytes in your system actually really does make a difference.
Yeah, we call Wednesdays like the banter night. We just talk about random things that really help us, and turns out we're all really dehydrated.
Yeah. Lots of water, required.
That's so good. I know that you have one hell of a story, but we're not going to go too deep on it today. But one day I'll pin you down.
Passing it on?
Yes.
All right. So now we'll talk to Emma. So before I ask you anything really too deep or anything, tell us a little about yourself, when you started at Champions and sort of the direction you started at and where you're heading to.
Thank you. So I started at Champions maybe a year and a half ago. My friend had done Muay Thai before and I was like, oh, that kind of looks cool, but it's way out of my comfort zone. But I was like, oh, I'll try, do the month thing, and then, started and obviously love it. I think I kind of switched between like Muay Thai and SAC. Couldn't really find like my jam for a little while.
Yeah.
And I think the last 3 months have kind of like I know I love Muay Thai, but I know I love SAC, and I just need to find that how it's going to work for me.
Yeah.
But I think I've dialed it down a bit now. But yeah, there's that.
Oh yeah, I forget you don't have a
Yeah, I don't have a mic. I know how much you love squats as well. So last few months we have been working very closely together, me and yourself, tracking nutrition. I know you started in lower calories and slowly, like a couple of weeks at a time, we'll increase it bit by bit. Tell us how that's going with you and how that's helped your training. And also you have just recently graded to advanced Muay Thai, so it's something to be proud of.
So I think with the nutrition, I think it's been like 3 months that we've been working together. Before, I think I'd was happy with my exercise and stuff, but I didn't really understand nutrition and kind of was like sucked into that social media thing of like, how are these people eating 3,000 calories, but they look like that, and just didn't understand it. So that's obviously why I came for yourself for some help. I think before I was eating like 1,500 calories and training a lot, and then wondering why I felt so terrible. But I think obviously the last, it's been 3 months. I think now I'm on like 2,000 calories to something like that. Feel so much better training wise, like obviously stronger, hit PBs, and feel energized to go to sessions, and also losing weight as well. So it's like trust your coach. He knows what he's talking about.
One more time.
Say it again.
You've lost how much kilos now? About 5?
5 kilos. Yeah, but like consistently, and not like every time I step on the scales, I'm like shocked that it's still happening.
Yeah, not going back up.
Yeah, and I don't feel like I restrict as well. Like I still go out for dinner, and still I just focus on. I just know way more about like what you should be eating and focusing on that kind of stuff. So
yeah, it has to be a lifestyle.
Yeah, it's been really good. I feel like it's changed my life, because I feel like I'm just gonna focus on that moving forward. Thank you.
Yeah, and we track your weight like every day that way. It's a little bit better that way, because that way you're obviously going to fluctuate day by day. So we get like an average for the week, and the main thing like we like to see is that it's trending down, but also we're upping your calories at the same time. There's still more to come, so don't be afraid to eat. What are your goals now coming into the next 12 weeks? I know you hit a PB with your deadlift, and we're trying to work on your squat technique, things like that. What are your main goals heading into the next training block?
Yeah, so like you said, squats are not my favourite. They definitely terrify me. So yeah, focusing on that, like technique, and yeah, just getting more confidence in that. I think with all the lifts as well, just keeping consistent and making sure that I am, keeping like the lifts look the same no matter as the weight gets put on. Earn your weights, as you would say.
My favourite saying. Respect the bar, own your weights.
Yeah.
You're not entitled.
Exactly.
The people that overload and underload.
Yeah.
Put more on.
You got to find your balance. Leave a bit in the tank, but not too much.
Yeah, but yeah, that's my goals for the next 12 weeks.
Good.
All right. So I'm going to talk to Jabs a bit about some of the things that we thought people could have done better. I definitely felt squats were attacked really badly. That, I think we did that first, right? We did squats, then
On the
bench.
Wednesday, yeah.
So people were warming up for the bench. And I felt like a lot of people who had never done testing just wigged themselves out. Like their mindset wasn't really ready for the challenge. And that was something that I want them to get better on for the next testing week is, all right, we're here to squat, we're here to lift, let's go. A little bit more mental prep. What was one of your biggest things?
I think, especially when it comes to squats, I think that's the hardest one in terms of to gauge how good of a squat it is. I think because it was a Wednesday, Saturday went smoothly because we were already used to it from Wednesday. I think because it was the first group one that we sort of did together. It was sort of a bit like touchy, but in terms of depth, I think people were just too quick to increase their weights from set to set with their squats. They thought, oh yeah, I lifted this, I'm going to go a lot heavier, a lot quicker. Then once they got too heavy and they weren't that confident, it sort of psyched them out.
Yes.
And they're like, I can't lift that much anymore. And then they was too scared to go too low and things like that.
Yeah.
And people were just too quick. Like we had me and you obviously in the room, people around each other, but people were just too quick from set to set, not giving us a chance to come, just give them assistance and make sure they're doing it correctly. So just stripping it back, slowing it down just a little bit, and then working together.
Yeah, I definitely saw the cherry pickers suffered. So we call that cherry picking program. So everyone knows what days we lift. So say if they don't like squats, they don't come on a Monday. And then obviously that lift just suffered in their testing and they were disappointed in themselves. And that's why, look, we can hide the programming and just mix it up and no one will know, or we can just let you know and then just see who comes. But I think this is an honest conversation people need to have with themselves is, what am I coming for? If I'm a bit uncomfortable about this lift, maybe I need to do that lift a bit more. Or just ask, like, can I have some help? Because you see people who shy away from their weaknesses just never really get better at them. Did you have anything else?
Sort of like Emma just said before, I always say you got to earn your weights. The biggest thing I always say to people is, yeah, we test every 12 weeks, but it doesn't mean you need to set a goal just for that 12 weeks. Think of it like I always tell people, you want to lift for your whole life. So even if you don't hit any weight PBs in the 12 weeks, I still want you to improve your form. There's no point trying to add weight as quickly as you can just to get as heavy as you can. I'd rather someone work on their form, work on getting the right muscle activated, because long term, it's going to benefit them. Adding weight on the bar, it's not easy, but it's the easy bit.
Yeah.
Perfecting form at a heavy weight is not easy. So I'd rather someone take a little bit longer on a lighter weight. And that's why I always tell people to warm up with an empty bar. Get your form down packed first, then you should be able to add weight to that bar.
100%.
Respect the bar.
Yes.
I'm very
My
OCD with things.
My last pet peeve is people that don't respect the taper.
Yeah.
So I always say, like, have an easy week before testing. Like, have the easy week. Do not do it. And then I see them book into class and lift really heavy. Yeah. But your body just needs that break before a big testing thing. I did the powerlifting comp at, June? And I didn't have time to have a taper. So I had a fight, then I did the powerlifting comp, and then I didn't have the weeks to have a rest. And the week of, I could not get 115 off for my deadlift. And then on the day I got the 122.5 up. But it's just your body needs rest and recovery. And I think the beginner lifters just really cannot get their head around how important that is. So having weeks off, like fueling up before those sessions, making sure that you're sleeping really well, because you work so hard for those 12 weeks blocks, and then you come and just like undo all your hard work in that last week by trying to suddenly get strong, but you've done all that work. Yeah.
It's like eating more. You got to make sure you're actually eating enough so you have the fuel.
Who needs to force people to eat more?
Yeah. There's another thing, like I've always heard someone, I can't remember who said this to me or who put this quote out, but there's active recovery, but I love the quote actively recovering. So don't be afraid to just sometimes literally sit on the couch for a day or two.
Yeah.
If your body needs it, like if your body is telling you I need rest, just literally rest. Doesn't mean, like, yeah, you can still go for a walk or whatnot, but even if you don't want to do that, don't feel guilty. Don't feel guilty to actually give your body that chance to actually just recover.
Oh.
I had to go through that sometimes. Like I felt guilty for not doing anything some days, but your body needs it sometimes.
100%. Awesome. We'll wrap it up there. Thank you so much for
Thanks,
taking
guys.
time out of your precious day, and this will be coming out on Tuesday. You did so well.
Thanks, guys. That was
One
good.
day I'm going to...
What did I just
Dave, you got me going so bad.
That was good, guys.
make me cry?
I didn't know that you lived 50 minutes away.
Yeah, that's why.